Hey, you guys out there in YouTube land. My name is Mignon, and basically, I'm here because I am coming out of the spiritual closet. Okay, so not really, but really. Anyway, okay, your girl messed up then. But anyway, back to that later. But anyway, what I'm here to discuss today is real quick, fast, and in a hurry. I'll give you guys a backstory as to um, mm, why I'm here and what I want to talk about. I'm just basically reaching out to the community to see how a lot of people feel and, just experiences that you guys have had and things that have happened to you guys spiritually in your past. And what got you to where you are today and why you feel a certain way. No political stuff, not downing anybody's religion. Hey, you know what? We're adults. You do you. I'm 53 years old, not ashamed of my age. But basically, long story short, I grew up in the church. My mother took me to church all the time. I grew up in a church called the Church of God in Christ. And when I was a little girl, I remember we were always at church no matter what. And the best thing for me back then was the choir. That is, other than that, a lot of it did not resonate with my soul. And I hear a lot of people. And I'm going to say their opinions because that's exactly what it is opinions. They will say things like, well, if you don't know how to discern. Okay, well, discernment respectively is in the ear of the beholder, I think, because everybody swears their discernment is correct and maybe yours isn't. So, not like I said, I'm not going to argue about that. But basically, when I was about 16 years old, once again, we're, like I said, being forced. At this point, it was forced to go to church basically 24 hours a day. But what for me, it was not resonating or resonating, I guess someone would say, with my spiritual needs, my soul. Something just it did not work for me, and I had gone to multiple different churches, and they were churches. If that's not a word, anyway, churches. But what I'm saying is that because people would say, oh, well, maybe you should go to this church, or maybe you should go to that church, or maybe you should do this, and maybe you should do that. Me being a Scorpio, my spirit, soul, or whatever you want to call it, is a very important thing to me. Where some people, okay, I think my cat just opened the door, y'all, because he did. Tyrone just opened the doggone door. That boy. Anyway, he does that, but don't pay him any attention. He might walk behind us here. But okay, that really boy. Anyway, that boy, the only boy I got. But anyway, so like I was saying, at this point, it made me digress. I was just basically saying at 16, I kind of knew that it wasn't probably going to be for me because I'd always heard, if you don't do this, you're going to die and go to hell. If you don't do that, you're going to die and go to hell. If you don't do this. But the one thing I loved about the church was the choir. Oh, that music, And I grew up in San Francisco. So the big church out there where we would do choir concerts and stuff like that with them would be the Love Center Choir, would be Walter Hawkins and Tremaine Hawkins. Bad. Andre Crouch too. Okay, jeez, I love them. Oh, he gonna get ignorant and just meow up a storm. Stop! Don't do that. Shh. Trying to do a video. Anyway, so like I was saying, so back to what I was trying to tell y'all before my cat decided to open the door. I don't know, come out and meow because he has everything that any. I got him a stroller, all kind of stuff. Cat's a trip. Got him a water fountain so he can always drink his water. Big old litter box, what else? Got him a little Burberry sweater. Hook him up, he can stop. But hey, okay, Tyrone, you just really, I thought you was in there watching YouTube because I had put the cats on for him to watch YouTube in the bedroom, but I guess that was not good enough for him. He wanted to come out here and make noise, and that's why I put him in there, and then I heard him messing with the door and he came on out. But once again, back to, okay, so the choir, I really enjoyed that kind of thing. But growing up, like I said, I'm 53 years old, not ashamed of my age. So I came along when Roots came out, y'all. Roots had just come out when I was little down in San Francisco, and I'm a little Scorpio, so I was somewhat, very, very sensitive, but very curious. And I was like, okay, so basically the slaves, well, if you look at the story of Kunta Kinte tells his master, I will never, never be a Christian. Okay. So I'm like, I'm paying attention, but I don't think they knew I was paying attention. I'm like, this was forced upon people. So then, of course, I'm studying, I'm studying, I'm studying, I'm studying, but I got a sneak. Around age 16, we had relocated down to Southern California to the Long Beach area. So there's this big Long Beach library, and your mom always gonna let you go to the library. And so I'll go down to the library and I would have to sneak. And back then there was no Google and all that good stuff y'all youngsters got these days. We literally had to use this thing called the Dewey Decimal System and go to the librarian. And so now I'm like, I want to know stuff about African religions. I want to know, who, what, where, when, why, how did this happen? How did that happen? So, um, I think my determination was to call this video coming out of the spiritual closet. So I'm sneaking around and I'm looking for this stuff because this stuff has always been told. We were always told that it was evil, it was bad, because basically Hollywood referred to our religion as voodoo in some type of zombie-ish Hollywood you guys know, way. But the reality, the more I'm reading these books, I'm sneaking and reading, and I'm hoping this librarian ain't looking. I'm like, where do I? Because instead of saying exactly what you want, that's when you start saying, um, do you have where would I look for you trying to but I figured it out, and I started reading more and more on voodoo and just different tribes and their cultures. And even recently I was watching something from the History Channel, and they talked about the tree of forgetfulness when they were bringing these slaves over to the Americas, and they did not want them to have any type of connection with their ancestors because they were told they weren't even human. They were only part human. And, I mean, we're not going to get into the slavery thing. We're going to talk about spirituality. But basically, I needed to know more than I was just being told, because the things that did not make sense to me, and this could be any person, because I was, as some people would say, I didn't discern it right. I'm sure I'll hear that. But I was basically looking at it from the point of view where, as at that point, I think my birth certificate, I'm a Negro. Okay, I'm not an African American. I was born in the 60s, and I'm proud. Yeah. But it basically, small things, because I wasn't trying to challenge people. When when you're young and you're talking about spirituality, that's kind of a deep subject. Um, Especially for my mom, especially her growing up, in the South, being at the church, and that was their community, and that's how they stuck together with all those bad things that had happened to them at that time. So basically, I tipped around for a long time, and I wanted to know more about who we were and what we came from. And basically I started to learn that we worshiped our ancestors, we respected our ancestors, we depended on them for guidance, and we did things very, very, very different. And at this point now I'm wondering where this brainwashing, because there are some people that still hold on to those African religions, but it's kept real hush hush. And like I said, it was deemed to be something evil and hateful, and it just wasn't. And then I looked at Native Americans, because you figure you had the African Americans here and you had the Native Americans who basically they just killed off. And Native Americans didn't want their picture taken, and just I'm very respectful, even to those who, whatever, that Christianity is their thing and you can't get them, to look at anything else. I respect that. That is what your soul resonates with. I'm not going to argue with you about that. I'm not going to. Please don't argue with me about how my soul feels, and simple as that. So, um, I'm getting older. I'm getting older. I'm 16. I think I brought you guys there. Told you guys one little quick story. It was funny. The one thing that I was always told, you didn't question God. And so, of course, my mother's teaching me my prayers. And I think it had been Christmas, and I'd asked for a bunch of stuff. And I got it. I got it. I was a pretty spoiled little kid. And It was so funny because I think it was the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. Mignon, imagine. I'm three. I know I'm three. And I'm doing what my mommy telling me. I'm like, the Lord is my shepherd. And I stopped and I looked at her up at her and I said, but I do want. I want some stuff, you know. So that just already tells you this woman was gonna have a hard time with me religiously anyway. And yeah, yeah, I was going because hey, even the information she's giving me, seek and ye shall find. So I started to seek, and I probably started to seek on a much deeper level than the average 16-year-old would actually start looking. And then I started to look more and more. And then there was, some people that would give you a little bit of information, and then, some people that wouldn't. So of course, thing I do is I think fast forward, we're about 21. I'm with my best friend, and I'm telling her all this stuff that I know. She's like, really, girl? I always wondered. Now, she's Pisces. We both water. So it's kind of murky there. We trying to figure stuff out because we ain't really feeling this and we ain't really feeling that. And, we trying to put stuff together. And so Venice Beach, I live in Southern California at this point. So we go down to Venice Beach. And I remember saying to her, how come that if you go to church and the prophet get up and tell people about their life, it's okay. But now, if we go and somebody's clairvoyant, or like the African lady at Venice Beach used to throw the shells, that's evil. That's the ooh. I ain't like that. I ain't like that. I thought that was kind of racist and it was bigotry, and I was noticing that my people weren't noticing that. But I remember I tell my girlfriend, now she's totally interested, and she's the oldest out of the two of us, and she goes back and she tells her her godmother. She's like, oh well, Mignon knows this and she knows that, and her godmother's like, oh, I'm gonna pray for y'all. I'm gonna pray. And I'm like, oh boy, here we go. So she's like, Mignon, oh my God, don't get reading about that stuff. My godmother said, oh, you gonna pay for that. You gonna pay for that. You go, oh my God, oh my God. For whatever reason, it didn't scare me. It didn't. They had always tried to scare me into conforming to. Now, the reason I do bring up to you guys that I'm spiritually coming out of the closet is because I don't necessarily talk about what I believe in, and because I'm so busy trying to respect others and their spiritual journey. When my girlfriends tell me, they're gonna fast and they're gonna pray and they're gonna do their tithes, and hey, that's working for them. So I'm not. Hey, I have another girlfriend, total white witch, pagan, and she does her thing. And I'm sending positive energy, love, and light to you too. But then, the funny thing is when I talk to, let's say, my girlfriend on this side who does her thing, I would never hear her talk about, them on this side. But then if I even remotely mention, so, oh, we ain't messing with none of that. Woo! It's like, oh my God, this is 2021, right? That's why I said I coming out of the spiritual closet. And the reason I even come to you guys and I'm reaching out to a community to see who is really out there, who has actually been through spiritually the things that I've been through, because I can share things with you guys when people say something is evil, where I've been sitting right up in the church, and of course I get it. People gonna say, well, that's man, that's this, that's that, that's the other. But my point that I'm making is you can take anything and look at it from a perspective and do something good, and you can take anything and do something bad, whether you're here or whether you're there. So that's why I said, please don't argue with me um, and start sending me places you have no control over. But those of you who would like to go on this journey with me, I would like to do some lives and, basically talk to you guys. I've done a lot of spiritual work, and the one thing that um, came to my attention, and the reason that I even brought this up was because, like I said, my girlfriend and I went to Venice Beach, and we met this one lady who was what they call clairvoyant. This was early Venice Beach, and I remember it was the first time we'd ever done anything like that. Gosh, I'm 53. I was 21. I sat down. My mother, had passed away. I want to say a year and a half before that, but I was working, getting along with life, and my girlfriend and I, she was like, "You want to go? When you 21, you think you grown, but you really, you are, whatever." But she looking at me and she's saying, "You see her? You want to go to her?" I'm like, "Well, how much is so Venice Beach? I always tell you donations." And I think I had my little $15. My friend had a little $15, and so the lady gave me some information. I'm sitting there, okay, whatever, we'll see. And so I have one of them girlfriends, especially when she's new to something. When it's something totally new, I'm getting up, walking. Where you going? I'm like, girl, that's personal. Do your thing. You ain't going nowhere. No, no, no. You can't leave. So this woman said some really personal, deep stuff to my friend. And I'm thinking, oh my God, she's fake. She's lying. Whatever. This is, it is what it is. And so when we get up and we leave, come on. Anybody who knows Venice Beach, it's Venice Beach. So she says, I was like, girl, she said that happened to me. I'm like, so, and I'll just give you a quick synopsis. One little thing the woman said to me is, I would definitely I was already pregnant. I just didn't know it. And it's like, I mean, which wasn't so far fetched because I was in a relationship. We were living together. We were both working. And so, come on, so that, but I mean, I'm not nobody famous. Ain't nobody digging through my garbage to find out anything. And plus, I did not know I was pregnant. And yes, I was pregnant with my oldest daughter. And so the lady's advice at that time for protection was for us to get some crystals. And so I did, and my girlfriend got some crystals, and I was in like not a good relationship at all. Like I told y'all, my mother raised me in the church. I ain't know nothing about no drugs. Okay? I ain't know nothing about no drugs. I was a medical assistant. I knew that aspect of drugs. But girl, I worked in women's. If somebody was on it, they wouldn't come to me for that. So anyway, like I said, I didn't know nothing. And my daughter's father was out there. But I guess they called them functioning addicts because he put his suit on, go work at Brentwood, do his thing, and then get blitzed. I honestly thought the boy was drinking, but yeah, you live and you learn. Now definitely when somebody tell you they're a recovering addict, you decide if that's your ministry or not. Not mine. But anyway, he it was not a good relationship to be in. I'm just gonna say that. And so this particular clairvoyant lady told me to go get black tourmaline. As you can see, got on my black tourmaline ring, got my black tourmaline earrings. Heck, I even got a black tourmaline anklet. And the relationship was getting worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. And I'm early pregnant. And by the way, the whole backstory is I had actually got married when I was really young because in my mother's house, she wasn't having no babies out of wedlock. At this point, like I said, my mother had passed. And my first daughter was born and she passed away of SID. So this is 5 years later. It's 5 year gap. Mama's gone. I'm grown. I got my job. I got my place. Got my car. I can, do what I want. And I get with this person. And, I don't like to talk about people because, he definitely had an issue. And so I'm in Southern California at the time. I decided that basically I wanted to, I was going to get this black tourmaline, but I didn't understand how, I guess you could say the science. And I was just told to pray, 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 pray. So like I said, once again, I didn't know anything, but I'm definitely going to be sharing some things um, with you guys. Like I said, that happened to me. It was really strange because back then on Venice Beach, we get these strings and then they would put the crystal on it. And I had the little pointed black tourmaline. I went in one of the stores right after she told me to get it. And I bought the little black tourmaline and it had this little white or clear quartz, I will say, on top of the black tourmaline at the time. And yeah, I put the thing on. I'm like, okay, what's this about? Well, within 3 weeks, and some would look at it as coincidence, but within 3 weeks of me getting that black tourmaline, and we actually lived together, we resided together. This black tourmaline absorbs negativity. I Let's just say it hit the fan, and things that shouldn't happen, like me being able to get out of my lease, all that stuff. That's what happened, y'all. He was gone, and I packed up and moved back to Northern California. And my daughter was born in Northern California, so her name is Crystal. And like I said, I'll get more into, like I said, spirituality and things that I've learned, things that I do, things I now, expect, things I would tell people not to expect, because, I think a lot of people think, whether, you know, you're a Christian or whether you're chanting as a Buddhist or whatever, you know, you use to connect with source, it's not like Bewitched where you gonna twinkle your nose and get stuff like that. It's faith. Some people would be like, "Oh, you got that black tourmaline, and y'all shouldn't have been together." Anyway, may be true, very well true, but um, I woke up. I woke up, but child, let me tell y'all about Mignon's life and her crystals and her meditation and my rituals or whatever, yo yoga, whatever you into. In my case, different strokes for different folks. But like I said, I would love to share some of the things that I have been through with you guys, some of the things that have come up even lately, and things that I do to uplift the mood. Just even me, learning that life is a journey and not a destination is an amazing thing. Because I always thought, okay, we get this, and then you're happy. If you get this job and you get this type of success, and then you're happy, then it's done. And mm-mm, mm-mm. And I'm only giving you guys my world, not the next person. For me, it's a continual journey. And like I said, I'd like to share that my journey with you guys, and I'd like your input in your journey, and just get a positive vibe, a positive community out there, so that more people are able to come out of the spiritual closet. Because it's funny because I end up speaking to a lot of people, and you just give a little nudge about, let's say, maybe a crystal or some sage. Like, yeah, girl, I do that too. But those other people, they get offended. Come on out that closet, girl. Girl, you're cute. Come on out that closet. I'm coming out. It'll be a whole series. But anyway, I'm going to come back and see y'all in a little bit. Come back tomorrow. We'll talk about auras and stuff like that. And I'll share some other crystals with you folks, and see what you guys think, see what remedies you guys use for different things, and how you feel about it. Well, peace, love, and light. Y'all have a good night.